Hello, everybody. It's Foshin with AmericanCivilDebate.com. I'm here with Matt.
What's going on, guys?
I'm here with my father again.
How y'all doing tonight? Hope everybody's well.
All right. So, Matt, what are we going to discuss tonight?
The decline of America. Oh man, how do we the people help it, and how do we combat it to an aspect of how we return it to normal?
Okay.
What do you feel?
I think everybody is walking on eggshells right now. I think it's pathetic that we're letting other people tell us how to live our lives. I think it's sad that people let it go by, too, and it gets to a bad point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's sad that we, the people, have let it go on this long. What can we do about it? I don't know. I think that we got to start trying to talk to each other again. And you got to let all the fluff go, because, I mean, like I said it yesterday or the day before's podcast, all this is tit for tat. I mean, the Republicans and Democrats, they're playing us for fools right now. I mean, to me, we definitely need a third-party candidate. I mean, I know you have independent, but maybe we need a fourth one to move on from both these parties. They have had egg on their face for the longest time, Republicans and Democrats.
Is it egg or something else?
Well, okay, crap. They got crap all over it. It's crap. It's crap. That's what they have given us so far. I think they have pushed all of us against the wall, and I think people are ready to react now. And hopefully they don't react in a horrible way, because that's the one thing I don't. Hopefully nobody gets stupid out of all this, because you don't want to see stupid things like that happening and everybody go. You know what I mean? It's like when you say combat it. I mean, hopefully we don't have to go to combat about it. You know what I mean? It's like that would be the saddest thing that we'd ever have to do.
Yeah.
What about you, Dad?
Well, you said something a minute ago that interests me. You said it's been going on for a long time. I don't think the decline of America has been going on for long at all. I think it's been the last 3-4 months.
Well, why do you say that?
Well, and I'll throw it out there. When Trump was in office, I believe that we were respected around the world because nobody knew what the man was going to do. Russia was not emboldened. The Chinese were not emboldened. Hamas was not emboldened. Everything was going pretty smooth. And then all of a sudden, after Biden and the first 100 days or whatever, look what's happening in the world. Got war in the Middle East again, or potential war. Economic decline. We got Russia hacking into all of our systems. And the Chinese are just doing what they want to do. They're over there fabricating more diseases right now. So it hadn't been going on that long.
To me, it's been going on for a long time. I think since the 2000, when Bush got into office, Bush Jr. I think with that war.
Name it. Why? What happened to the decline of America when Bush was in office?
Okay, what about the housing crash?
That wasn't the president's fault. That was the lender's fault, lending 125% on your home.
But who also guaranteed it, though? The federal government guaranteed.
No, they did not.
Fannie Mae and all them did.
Well, Fannie Mae has.
And that's a government.
VA did not. The banks did not. Nobody did.
The federal government was running Fannie Mae, were they not? Were they not? Where Fannie Mae was being ran by the federal government.
Maybe so, but that's not the only lender. There's 1,000 other lenders out there that participated in it, and see what happened. You cannot borrow 125% of your money on something that you can't borrow $125,000 something's worth $100. It's going to go bad. It's just common sense.
Do you see that happening in today's market with people buying up what they're buying up? I mean, as a former realtor,
there's going to be a snag, and it's going to hit a bump, but the bump will not be as bad as it was in 2006, 2007, whenever it was. It ain't going to be that bad.
So as a millennial right now, I mean, do you think right now would be the best?
I love how you love using that word. That's your favorite word to use on here.
Well, because
that's your only way to describe me.
Okay, you're a friggin' millennial. That's what you are to me right now because you're a young person. I'm joking with you. But as a person your age, would you go out and buy a house right now?
No, I would not. And if I did, I would try and find a foreclosed house, or try and build one super cheap. I would not go outright and buy a house, especially right now, because especially with the market being so high, and I feel that it is going to come crashing down here within the next year or two, and I don't want to buy a $180,000 house and it only be worth $80,000.
Right. No, I understand.
Well, I'll throw this out at you, Matt. It happened back in 2006, whenever the market crashed, and a lot of people bought into the market at that time because it was low, and they've done very well.
That's what I want to do.
You buy on the dips. It's like stocks or anything else. You buy on the dips, sell on the highs.
Oh yeah, and that's what I want to do. I'm waiting for it to go way down. I don't know. It's going to suck. It's going to suck for the economy and everything like that. But it's going to be the perfect time to buy a house, and you can get a $300,000 house for what, $180,000?
Maybe
Probably.
So. Maybe so. We have to wait and see.
But think about this, though. The investors that came down here during that time bought up all these houses, bought them for cheap, bank-owned, and now they made so much money selling all those houses off after they had tenants in there for 5 and 10 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, does that, with it going like it is to me, does that really, do you think this is going to hurt? To me, I think it's going to hurt the people. I think that people are trying to overbuy.
Speculating, and it's going to hurt them, But it's just like everything else. You buy low, sell high.
That's just one of the declines. That's what I was saying. I mean, I think real estate right now is fixing to hit a big snafu, like what you're saying.
Snagfu?
Or, well.
A snafu? There's no G in there.
Hey, I'm 49 years old. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Can you please spell snafu?
What is it? What is it? Early onset Alzheimer's?
Something like that. But my point being is that's just one of the things. The economy with interest rates rising through the roof.
Yeah.
Inflation going through the roof.
Interest rates are at almost an all-time low on a 30-year jumbo, a 15-year fixed, and a 30-year fixed. They're under some of them are under 3%. The highest you're going to get is about 3.25%. That's pretty doggone low.
Not with my credit rate.
Or mine.
Well, I ain't got none, so it don't matter to me. But I'm just saying that interest rates are a good thing. It's what's fueling the housing market, that and demand. What do you do?
Okay, so with you saying that like that right now, you think Joe Biden's doing a pretty good job at keeping us right where we are?
You want me to read the sign I got posted on my canal?
See, there you go. But
let me ask you this real quick. I just want to sidetrack real quick. So you think with the COVID-19 and everybody being off for a year and like just America basically being on the brink of collapse, do you feel like it's going to be another baby boom? Because people had nothing else to do but just stay inside the house?
The birth rate is actually down about 4% in this country. So it may come up later, who knows? But right now it's down because people are uncertain about this. They're uncertain about America right now.
But there's an all-time high of divorces, too, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, when you're stuck in the same house
and everything else.
When you're stuck in the same house as your significant other, then you really get to know them.
And that's why there's so many divorces
exactly.
out there. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of people got complacent.
Oh, yeah.
They're doing their own thing, and then they're stuck with each other.
Sitting there, why aren't you doing the dishes?
Well, let's really take back to the decline of America. Do you think the stimulus and the PPE and all that stuff is going to pay off for America? Is it going to hurt us?
Well, it's going to hurt It's going to hurt some people, but it's also going to help a lot of people, small businesses and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely.
That helps them out. If they do the right thing and don't fraudulently
$700,000 boat, yeah.
If they don't fraudulently do stuff like that, and all they're doing is they're paying their employees, and they can probably get a couple extra employees that they want to do.
Nobody wants to work. There's for hire signs just about every shop you go by.
Is it nobody wants to work, or nobody wants to work at what their salary is or what their going rate is going to be?
Why would they want to do that when they're getting more from the federal government than they are for working?
So let me ask you this, though. Don't you think this is the push of the socialism that's coming in?
You guys are jumping all over our future episodes right here.
But making people realize that, hey, the government will take care of us. Let's vote in socialism. And what does that end up becoming? That becomes communism because the government runs out of money, the people run out of the money, and what happens? Next thing you know, they own all the property and tell you where you can live and can't live. That's how stupid all this is. I mean, seriously, with what we were just saying, The PPE and the SBA,
the
PPP.
Yeah.
I think it's good for certain people. I think a lot of small businesses should do. I mean, hopefully they're doing the right thing and taking care of their people, because I think the people that you work with, like you're working with me right now, and we're working out payment. I want to take care of you. You take care of me, and I take care of you. Know what I mean?
Well, let me ask you this, Bo. The PPE is helping the employees pay. Help the employers pay the employees,
right?
But they're still drawing unemployment.
So I don't think that's right, though.
Well, of course it's not right.
But
going back, nobody wants to go back to work.
But going back to what I just said,
part of the decline of this country.
But don't you think that's a way to rear end us with socialism?
Of course it is.
Okay, that's just one of the plans that they're doing right now. That's part of that.
1,000%. Depend on the government. We will take care of you. Well, that's BS.
Well, that's the decline of what we're talking about.
Oh,
right there.
This was a good topic. You guys are getting heated over here.
Well, no,
I like it.
It's not about getting heated, but it's like people need to wake up and say,
well, okay, you guys are debating. I love it.
No, it's part of the decline of America has been, we can blame it all on COVID. Everything else is blamed on COVID, which is fine. But the government coming in and taking over things, and now they want to take over the state's voting rights, and they want to run it from a federal standpoint. That's just another step in the decline of this country, which will lead us to more and more socialism.
But they're assaulting us from every front.
Of course
I mean,
conquer and divide and conquer.
Well, let me ask you this. So since COVID has happened, do you feel like the government has done enough to kind of help combat COVID and, our infrastructure, and how, like, you think they're setting up enough ways to kind of help build us back up, or do you think they're just...
No, they're suckering us still back into socialism. I mean, seriously, let's just be for real.
I disagree. They are setting us up for socialism.
That's what I just said.
They're setting us up for failure.
Absolutely. They're setting us up. I mean, the stimulus checks, the PPE, and the unemployment benefits being higher than people can make. Wait a minute. What is that? It's socialism. It's a precursor to it. And this is what the progressive left wants. And they keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Let's spend another $6 trillion on this. Or let's spend another $6 trillion on that. What's going to happen?
Where are we getting the money from?
Huh?
Where are we getting the money from?
They're printing it. They're sitting back here printing as hard as they can. There's no backup for it.
So you're saying that pretty much the dollar bill is almost...
the handwriting on the wall.
Is weightless at this point?
Here's the Democrats. It's tax and spend. They've been that way ever since and I'm an old man, but they've been tax and spend constantly. And they want bigger government, which we are now getting because of the progressive left. And that's going to be the ruination of this country, because what is he going to do? Taxes got to go up. Biden knows it. Everybody knows you cannot give away anything. Nothing's free.
Especially from the government.
Yeah, I mean, the government's going to get it back. They already rose the corporate rate from 21 to 28%. Wait a minute, America. Oh, we're going to tax $400,000 people more than the rest of us. That's just a precursor to, well, if you make $50,000 a year, you're going to get more taxes. They can't stop. They cannot stop because they're spending way too much money. Our national debt's out of control. The value of the dollar is declining.
So
we're going to hell, America.
So how do we fix that with what we've talked about so far?
Oh, man.
It was something they should have elected Trump. We were going good, and all of a sudden we got Biden. So how do you fix it? It's not going to be fixed until midterms, and that's, about a year and a half away for midterms. Hopefully we'll get some people in there, and people will wake up and understand they've got to put people in the government or work for the people and not themselves and not for the government.
Matt, your turn.
Caught me at a bad spot, I'm thinking.
All right, you do a lot of thinking over there.
I got the headphones on so you can't see the smoke.
There we go.
Oh, man.
Let's break it down.
What about you? Let's go with you, and then maybe I'll be ready by that time. Probably not, but we'll see.
It's just like, okay, I mean, how they rear-ended the socialism into us. Think about this for a sec. I just want you to think. First, they're giving
My
school.
butt's raw.
Whatever. That was like the stupidest comment.
Oh, never mind.
Listen, drunk old man.
Better hang on to yours.
Shut up and sit down for a sec.
He's sitting down. He's been sitting down for the past hour and a half.
I know, drinking beer. Okay. With how they brought socialism in with the socialized medicine at first. Remember that back in 2011, I think they brought
Go back to Social Security. Well, what does the word say? Social Security.
Hey, shut up for a second. Let me speak. I don't overtalk you. Don't overtalk me.
You overtalk everybody.
So my point is socialized medicine, and then what do they bring next? They're putting everybody through school, right?
They want to, yes.
And debting our students, right?
I just want to say this real quick. You were touching every plan that I've had for the future episodes. You're touching on all of them.
And we're going to talk about those. So
we can expand on them anytime you want to.
Right, but we'll do those. But my point is, they have rear-ended us with socialized medicine and debting our kids in colleges. Now they're trying to take over the federal elections. Now they want to federalize the police. I mean, let's be for real. With all these people yelling, defund the police, defund the police. Well, who do you think we're going to have for police department then? Federal. And that turns into...
National Guard, you're right, yes.
But you see my point.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, I mean, this is socialism, and they've been slipping this in there, and the people have been so complacent and not even realizing, and now they're like, oh, my God, now we got socialism. No, we've had socialism for the last 6 years.
No, sir.
No. Since 2011, when they first passed the health care or Obamacare.
Yeah,
but think about that.
I do. I think about it all the time.
I understand, but then indebting our youth to go to college and get a degree in something stupid that there's no jobs out there for.
Underwater basket weaving.
You know what I mean? It's like, what in the hell are people... And colleges are just as guilty as the federal government for helping them in debt. You know what I mean? They made the colleges rich, but now the kids are in debt, and now they want a reprieve on a lot of that money.
Well, I do want to say this, and we're going to touch on this on another episode later on, either later on this week or next week or the future. We're going to talk about the student loan crisis and everything like that.
But this is part of the decline.
Well, yeah, but what I do want to say is, I want the colleges to... I almost want to say forcefully make the students take a financial aid class so that they understand how their loan works and what they need to do to continue to pay
it back,
and not fall down into that percentage rate of where
and that's half of our national debt right there,
to where they're getting their paycheck garnished because they didn't pay their student loan.
Let me say this, okay? They're making it so easy with federal government help and everything else for every student or every person who wants to go to college go. They've taken away the ACT, they've taken away the SAT, so anybody can go to college. Well, wait a minute, a lot of these people should not qualify for college, but yet the federal government's going to loan them money. And, I think, I don't know whether Matt ever looked it up, we're about $11 trillion in student loan debt. And now they want to wipe that off, or wipe some of it off. We just can't keep wiping the money away. Kids need to understand you got to qualify for college. If you don't qualify, go to a trade school, get a good job.
But isn't that how they kind of reamed us?
Of course,
with socialism.
That's what they want. They want these people. Hey, I got a 4-year degree. I need a job. Well, you can't get a job, but I tell you what, the federal government's going to take care of you. Don't you worry about it.
Well, so at that point, would a trade school? Because you know how most employers will sit there and ask 5 years experience with everything else. A trade school helps at that point.
What about going into the military and doing a military thing like you did? You went into the military for what, 4 years?
Yep.
In the Marine Corps?
Yep.
And then your college is paid for you, right? Or
yep.
Or what, 90%?
They gave me 80-something thousand to go to college.
And but you're being responsible too, because you're trying to find a job that you can actually get a job to, like you're doing business planning, right? Aren't you doing business?
Yep.
You're learning about business, just like you're learning about this podcast. Everything is kind of cool. But how many other kids do you know that are trying to do this right now? Honestly.
Podcasting? None.
No, I'm talking about, but what I'm saying is, how many other kids are out there trying to do...
I'll tell you, a lot of my buddies that I was in the military with are currently going to college, or they're looking to go into college to try and help themselves out. Also, you do have to remember, a lot of my buddies and I worked on aircraft. So, and to have, a college degree with aircraft background to go up and get a job working on aircraft for Boeing or SpaceX or anyone like that, it's unbelievably, it's such a great asset to have in your tool bag, to where you don't have to worry about anything at that point.
But let's be honest here. If we're gonna get rid of socialism a little bit, we need kids and youth to start going into the military for at least 2 years. I think that 2-year enlistment, like what we were talking about the other day, I think that's one of the best ideas in the world because
it's not a bad idea. But when you're talking about socialism or communism, okay, kid, you go in the military. Well, that ain't gonna fly.
Yeah, but that's not Israel. Doesn't they're not communist.
No, but if you start doing things like that, okay, you got to go for 2 years. You're going to tell my 18-year-old son you got to go to the military for 2 years.
I thought you were on with us for the 2 years.
I believe they should, but I don't think it has to be made. It's not
they
a
should
forcible
want to.
issue.
They should want to.
Well,
you know what it
there's
is?
two ways to look at that.
But isn't that... hold on.
The parent, no, you hold on. The parents have to say, wait a minute. You're going to go to college, and what you going to do to college? You're going to get a degree or something, you get a job when you come out? Or you're going to go to a trade school? If you're going to do that, good. Go to the military. Get training. Get discipline. Get learning. That's my point.
I want to say this. You know, if you go and do the 2 years of the military, do you think that's a betterment of the country because everyone will be, unanimous in the way that they are?
I think there'd be a lot more patriotism. I think there'd be a lot more patriots out there. I mean, there's patriots out there. Everybody claims to be a patriot. We've talked about this before.
Yep.
But I think it would bring more people would have an understanding of what the flag's all about.
I think deal with the flag for a minute, okay? I don't want to overtalk you, but that's got nothing to do with it in my mind. If you go to the military, three things. You learn discipline, number one. You find yourself, number two, and you get some sort of trade that you can come out and be a function of society.
So if you don't feel people should be made to go into the military, do you think schools should be made a little bit more stricter?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
If you don't qualify, you don't get in.
Let's just be for real out here. There's a lot of losers out there, and they're going to suck on the government no matter what. Everybody knows that. I mean, there's every type of person out there that, the government will take care of me. The government will take care of me. Those are the people, at least we can, if we had more people working, more people doing the things that they should be doing, you know what I mean?
Yes, you go back to the way you were raised, Matt was raised, I was raised. It worked. It worked for 50, 60 years. Why change it?
If you don't work, you don't eat.
If you don't work, you don't get paid.
Well, you don't eat.
You don't eat. You don't have a house.
I do want to say this real quick before we turn this into a 45-minute long episode. I do hear a lot of people complaining about the gas prices, and my thought on that is you got to get gas anyways. I'd rather have gas than no money, go to work to make more money, versus have money, no gas, and not be able to get to work.
Absolutely.
But going back to everything, that's how I think that we could actually save America from socialism. To me, is just one is not implementing, but more kids wanting to go into the military.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be for real. The military is going to weed out the losers anyways. Most people are going to be in prison or whatever, stockade or wherever they go to. But the thing is, at least that's the military taking care of them and not the people that have to keep throwing the money at them and everything else.
Who pays for the military, son?
Well, taxpayers. But
yes,
at least
we all pay for it no matter what, okay? But get the most bang for your buck.
But at least we're not sitting there having to pay for their drug addictions and all that like we're doing right now. I mean, how much money do we have to pay for drug rehabilitations and stuff like that? Do you think all that's really...
In the prison system and
in the prison
like
system and everything else?
As much money as the liberals will throw at it.
Oh, man. All right.
So, this is all part of the decline of America, in my mind. Everything we're talking
that's
about.
That's what the whole episode's about.
But the thing is how do we save it? We'll come to that. You know what?
This is a two-parter.
This is a two-parter. So with that being said, and we want everybody that listens to this, if you have something to say and then if you think one of us is wrong, let us know. Let's talk about it. That's what this is all about, is talking about it. Now, Dad, what are your final thoughts?
You're complaining about it to me. I'll jump your stuff, baby. No, the decline of America is a real thing, okay? And people better wake up and figure out that, just because you're comfy in your home, you got a meal on your table, you're raising your kids, they're going to school, it's going to change, okay? Unless we do something about it. And the main thing to me is get out and vote. Study your candidates, know what they're representing, and get out there and vote for yourself and make them work for you.
And coming within the next 2 months, we are going to do a 34-part episode of going over the open Senate seats and who's up for election, and we'll talk about, we'll go over the different candidates and what they stand for and what they represent and everything.
I think that'll be fun too.
Oh yeah, it will be,
because we look at both of them, and Democrat or Republican. If they're bad, we're going to sit there and we're going to say it like it is, whether people like it or not. At least you can be honest about it, because I think we all need to start being honest with ourselves.
Oh yeah,
and you know what I mean, and quit listening to all the jazz. Sorry for the wind blowing. We're outside on the lanai. It's a beautiful day. Your final thoughts, Matt?
My final thoughts are, we need to set a structure in place to where, basically like we were doing earlier today with our business meeting, we need to set a structure to where we can get and set goals as Americans to help get us back on track to where we were.
And do you think that's good? I think it's going to take a while, though.
Absolutely. It'll take a long time.
It's going to take the voters to get out there, study their candidate, and know who they're voting for and what they represent. Do they represent you, or they represent government?
Or themselves.
Oh, yeah. What's your final thoughts, Bo?
My final thought is this. People, wake up. Please wake up. We've let them railroad us with socialism. I mean, you look out there, and since 2011, when they started pushing this socialized medicine, they got our kids in debt. Gas prices are rising. Jobs, people are laying off and sitting at home, and we're giving them unemployment benefits. The money's going to run out. It doesn't matter. The government can print all the money they want, but they got to be able to pay it back. We're in debt to other countries. Think about that.
Well, paper money has to have a backing. That's what the gold standard is for.
So let me ask you this: how much money do you think's in Fort Knox right now? Honestly.
Oh man.
Honestly.
I would probably estimate between $5 to $20 billion worth of gold.
You really think there's still gold in Fort Knox?
I believe so.
I don't think there's an ounce there.
I don't think they have one bar there. Honestly, I really don't. I think they should let us see that, because I guarantee you that shit's gone right now. My final thought is this: people, wake up. We really need to wake up. We got to start putting the right people into office that's going to work for us. And if you like what we do, come to our website, AmericanCivilDebate.com, and let's talk about it. You can post what you want. You can do whatever y'all feel like doing. But I just want you to enjoy the internet again. We don't fact check you. We don't sell y'all for your information for money. And all you need is an email address to join. And to be honest with you, we're becoming more and more like Facebook, hopefully, and people will be more comfortable there. And that's what we're trying to accomplish. We're trying to accomplish to get people to be able to leave Facebook and not have to worry about it no more. Because a lot of people keep saying they want to do this and that. They want to go to Parler. They went back to Facebook. They went to... People, let's be for real here. Let's have a good time again. And we're trying to make that happen for you at AmericanCivilDebate.com. Let's talk about it. Everybody have a great night, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.